What was it like being around DMX?
DMX was dangerous, man.
Straight up like that. Whoever don't like it, bring it, nigga. Bring it. I don't. Bring it. Bring it.
In Los Angeles, gangs like the LA Crips have built a whole system where rappers are expected to check in when they come to the city. And it often leads to heated confrontations. But when they tried to pull that move on DMX, they quickly found out this man wasn't one to be messed with. We're talking about DMX, the same wild, fearless legend who treated prison like a second home because of how many times he ended up there. His energy was raw, unpredictable, and straight up intimidating. Nobody wanted smoke with him once they realized what kind of man they were dealing with.
And nobody in this nigga crew running behind him to stop this nigga. So I'm like, whoever this nigga is, he official. They ain't want no smoke with this nigga.
This checking in thing has been around for years, with gangs trying to extort rappers like it's just part of doing business. One of the biggest names connected to this so-called system is Big U, known as a major enforcer of the whole check-in culture. And he's now locked up for it. Big U once broke it down himself, saying it's mandatory for rappers to check in when entering certain cities.
But what was it like being around DMX?
DMX was dangerous, man. When you around him, he's like, you don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Very unpredictable.
He even compared it to military airspace or political zones, saying you can't just fly through certain areas without permission. Wild, right? Honestly, a lot of people think this whole check-in thing is ridiculous because, let's be real, these gangs only target black celebrities and rappers. It's like they're gatekeeping their own community, and that's just wild. But DMX, he was not the one to play those games with. Trying to make him check in was a huge mistake because he was built different, raw, fearless, and ready for anything.
We in LA. When I go to Chicago, I respect Chicago wholeheartedly. I check in. When I go to Atlanta, I check in. And I don't think nobody is safe. I know dudes right now from LA who are actual gang members who have been robbed for their jewelry.
Fat Joe once shared a crazy story that showed exactly what kind of energy DMX carried. He said that one night, after doing a show with Big Pun, they stopped at a gas station just to chill. Out of nowhere, some guy walked in flashing his chain, and DMX straight up robbed him on the spot. No hesitation, no warning, just raw DMX energy in full effect. That's how unpredictable he was. And then there's Aries Spears' wild story. He said he was at an event trying to promote his comedy CD when things took a surprising turn involving DMX himself. The tension in the room was real, and everyone knew DMX wasn't someone you wanted to test. Aries Spears was going around that night trying to get celebs to back his new comedy CD.
The United States of America and all these countries have what is called airspace. If you invade their airspace with a plane, they consider that an act of war. You can choose not to, and it's gonna be a problem. If dudes come and you move it in a certain way, if you choose not to check in, you suffer the consequences.
And of course, he approached DMX too. But the problem was, DMX wasn't too thrilled about those impressions Aries used to do of him. You know the ones growling, barking, acting like DMX on stage? Yeah, that didn't sit right with the real X. So DMX told him, "We need to talk," and led him into a locker room. The moment they stepped inside, nearly 30 guys followed, surrounding Aries and DMX in a tight circle. Then the bodyguard shut the door, locked it, and stood guard like it was about to go down. The air got tense real quick. DMX started grilling Aries about the impression, asking why he did it. Aries tried to play it off, saying, "It was all in fun, no disrespect," trying to calm the situation. Then, trying to lighten the mood, he switched gears and pitched his CD just like he had been doing with everyone else. DMX looked at him and said, "Come to my hotel later, let me hear it. If it's good, cool. If it's not..."
We had a show, me, him, and Big Pun in Brooklyn. And after the show, we stopped at the gas station. Meanwhile, the whole crowd was just going, "Stop, shut him down, open up, chop, ho." Like, DMX was crazy.
And then came that signature growl. But what really freaked Aries out, according to him, was when DMX pulled a razor blade straight from under his tongue. Who even does that? After all that chaos, Aries said he never even showed up to DMX's hotel. And honestly, can you blame him? After seeing X pull a razor from under his tongue, that meeting was over before it even started. But Aries wasn't the only one with a wild DMX story.
And at this time, I had my comedy CD, and I did a bunch of skits where I did prank phone calls as rappers. And I saw Busta Rhymes, I saw this person, that person. So I put them on camera saying, yo, you gotta cop my man Aries Spears shit, blah, 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 blah. All good. I see DMX, and yo, X, he goes, Doug, I need to holler at you.
Jay Farrow had his own run-in that proves just how intense DMX could get on stage. He said they were performing together, and DMX was so hyped, throwing his fists in the air, barking into the mic, completely locked in, that he accidentally punched Jay right in the face mid-performance. And instead of stopping the show, DMX just kept going like nothing happened. That's how deep he got into his energy. Then came the story that had rappers literally running for their lives. Memphis Bleak once said that the Bad Boy Records crew was chilling on the beach in Miami when Mace pulled up on a scooter, just vibing. But the moment DMX spotted him, he took off chasing Mace full speed. Bleak said he'd never seen anything like it. He was stunned, watching DMX move like a man on a mission. And then there was DMX versus Kurupt, a whole different level of tension. DMX didn't fear anyone, and he sure didn't care about gang politics. That same fearless attitude carried into his beef with Kurupt, who was not only a respected rapper, but also a known member of the Crips, and managed by none other than Big U, the top figure in the rolling 60s. But DMX didn't care about any of that gang politics or who was connected to who. He wasn't scared of anybody. Things between him and Kurupt got so tense that it reached a deadly level. Kurupt ended up being the target of a hit that left 2 of his bodyguards dead, and he barely made it out alive.
We go into the locker room, and there's one entrance in and one entrance out. So me and him go in there, and about 27 niggas follow suit, and they make a circle around us. So it's just me and X in the middle. And then the bodyguard comes in and then slams the door where you could leave and stands in front of it.
The streets were buzzing after that, and rumors started flying fast. People were whispering that DMX might have had something to do with it. Considering his reputation for being unpredictable and dangerous, a lot of folks actually believed it. To understand how things got so wild, you gotta rewind back to the early 1990s. Back then, DMX was the underground king of New York, raw, gritty, and unstoppable. Meanwhile, out on the West Coast, a young Kurupt was just starting to rise. In 1992, when he was only 19, Kurupt and his close friend Daz Dillinger signed with Death Row Records, the most feared and powerful label in the game at that time.
When he was like, Dog, I heard you, my voice, huh? Heard you doing some things with my voice. What's good? I said, oh, no, it's all complimentary, ain't nothing crazy. I'm not disrespecting you or nothing like that.
Together, Kurupt and Daz formed Thaw Dog Pound, with Kurupt representing the Rollin' 60s Crips and Daz repping the Rollin' 20s Crips from Long Beach. These two weren't just rappers, they were soldiers in one of hip-hop's most notorious movements. Before long, Thaw Dog Pound expanded into a massive crew known as the Dog Pound Gangsta Clique, featuring heavy hitters like Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, and RBX. Their first big moment came when they appeared on Dr. Dre's legendary 1992 album, The Chronic. That project changed hip-hop forever, and the Dog Pound's raw energy stood out immediately. Then in 1993, they went even harder on Snoop Dogg's classic debut album, Doggy Style. Kurupt and Daz appeared on several tracks in hilarious skits, locking in their spot as a key part of Death Row's golden era. Their name was officially stamped in hip-hop history. By 1994, Thaw Dog Pound was ready to claim their own spotlight. No more plain background. They kicked off the rollout for their debut album, Dog Food, with the single, What Would You Do? That track was straight fire, spreading everywhere, and even grabbing a Grammy nomination in 1996 for Best Rap Performance by a duo or group. These guys were officially leveling up.
But like everybody else, can I get you on camera endorsing my shit? He was like, Doug, I tell you what, come to my hotel tomorrow, let me hear it. If it's good, yeah. If it's not,
When Dog Food finally dropped on October 31st, 1995, Halloween night, it blew the charts apart. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, selling over 270,000 copies in just its first week. That kind of success locked the Dog Pound in as one of the hottest duos in the game. And while the music was booming, Kurupt's personal life was starting to heat up too. He began dating Brooklyn rapper Foxy Brown. By 1997, they were officially engaged, turning into one of hip-hop's most talked about couples. But while Kurupt was shining on the West Coast, things were exploding over on the East. DMX had just signed with Def Jam, and in February 1998, he dropped his debut single, Get At Me Dog. That joint went crazy, peaking at number 39 on the Billboard charts. And everyone instantly knew DMX was a whole new kind of beast in the rap game. His voice, his energy, his aggression, it was unmatched. Later that same year, DMX released his first full album, It's Dark and Hell Is Hot, and it took over the rap world. The album became an instant classic, proving DMX wasn't just another rapper, he was a movement. But while his career was skyrocketing, drama was brewing behind the scenes, because by mid-1998, rumors started flying that DMX and Foxy Brown, who was Kurupt's fiancée at the time, were secretly hooking up behind his back. The streets went wild with that one. According to Foxy Brown, the one who stirred up the whole mess was Ruff Ryders' own Eve. Foxy claimed Eve was the one who ran to Kurupt, telling him that something was going down between her and DMX. That single rumor blew everything up. It sparked a major fallout between Foxy and Eve, two powerful women in hip-hop who had once been cool. Foxy swore up and down that nothing serious ever happened between her and DMX. She said he just had a crush, and Eve was the one exaggerating the whole thing, turning whispers into full-blown drama. And the timing made it even worse.
And what really fucked me up was after he went, then this nigga pulled a razor blade out from under his tongue.
Oh.
I've been black my whole life. I'm not that black. The gift that you have to be able to put a razor blade in your mouth, talk, move your mouth, your tongue, and you don't cut yourself?
Both Foxy and DMX were signed to Def Jam and touring together on the Survival of the Illest tour that summer. So when people started seeing them around each other constantly, the rumors just kept growing. Then, in December 1998, DMX dropped his second album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, another certified classic. But one track stood out and got everyone talking, Bring Your Whole Crew. That song sent fans into a frenzy because the lyrics sounded way too personal. DMX talked about being out for blood and even mentioned the Crips being at war, a line that felt like a clear shot at Kurupt, who was famously tied to the Crips.
So we on stage, right? And we doing Party Up and we killing it, you know what I'm saying? DMX accidentally snuffs me. That's some real shit. I was like, wow, this nigga's knuckles is hard as a motherfucker.
DMX accidentally.
He accidentally snuffed me.
How?
Is he just
going
No,
out?
look. 1, 2, now. He hit me.
Ready outside.
Oh, shit. I was like, God dang.
In that same track, DMX spits about how much trash someone could talk with his lips on the floor, calls out a fake pit, and goes off about wanting to choke and destroy his enemy. Fans instantly connected the dots. They thought the fake pit line was a diss toward Kurupt, linking it to Tha Dog Pound and comparing him to a weak pit bull. While DMX never confirmed that the bars were aimed at Kurupt, the timing was way too suspicious. The tension, the rumors, and the energy in those lyrics, everything pointed to a clear message. DMX was warning Kurupt to back off before things got real. By 1999, the tension between DMX and Kurupt had officially reached a boiling point. Word started spreading that DMX had been spending time with Kurupt's fiancée, Foxy Brown, behind his back, and that lit a fire that couldn't be put out. The streets were talking, and everyone could feel the heat building between the two rappers. Then on January 26, 1999, Foxy dropped her highly anticipated album, China Doll, and that's when things really exploded. The project included a track called Dog and a Fox featuring DMX, and the title alone had fans raising eyebrows. That collab didn't just confirm that Foxy and DMX were hanging out, it allegedly rubbed Kurupt the wrong way big time. According to him, the whole concept for that song was originally supposed to be a duet between him and Foxy. If that's true, then having DMX on it instead must have felt like a straight-up betrayal, like salt in an open wound. The tension became too loud to ignore. It was officially Kurupt versus DMX. Around that same time, Kurupt was in the studio working on his second album, The Streets Is a Mother, and he decided to face the drama head on.
Yo, Get back here. Wait till I catch you, nigga. So, you know me, I'm in the back seat like, what happened between him and Mace? Like, who is this nigga? And nobody in this nigga crew running behind him to stop this nigga. So I'm like, whoever this nigga is, he official. They ain't want no smoke with this nigga.
Instead of staying quiet, he went for the jugular, recording a track called Calling Out Names. That song was pure fire and pure chaos, a direct diss track aimed at multiple rappers, including DMX, 50 Cent, and Ja Rule. Before the album even dropped, the track leaked, and the controversy hit the hip-hop world like a bomb. From the very first verse, you could tell Kurupt wasn't holding anything back. Kurupt didn't hold anything back on Calling Out Names. He went straight for DMX's throat, dropping harsh insults and calling him out by name. In the track, he makes it crystal clear that the only X he recognizes is either Zebit or RBX, not DMX. That line alone sent shockwaves through the rap world. Kurupt accused DMX of trying to steal his girl, Foxy Brown, but then flipped it by saying DMX could keep her, throwing shade at both of them and mocking the whole situation. He basically called them out for using each other for fame and money, cold words that hit deep. Kurupt didn't stop there. He threw down a serious warning, saying that if DMX ever set foot on the West Coast, he'd be stripped and beaten, all over a woman. It was the kind of threat that made the entire industry stop and watch.
Not even a rebirth. He's finna give you back what he always been. A beast on the mic with the vocals that can't nobody touch. He gonna make you go get the dictionary to understand every word he just spit too.
And to make matters worse, Kurupt bragged that he had already moved on to a new woman, taking another sneaky jab at Foxy Brown and the chaos she brought into his life. The disrespect was loud and everyone could hear it. In the second verse, Kurupt shifted gears and started firing at the Ruff Ryders crew. He made it clear he had no love for anyone in their camp, except Eve. That one line got fans talking because it seemed to confirm what Foxy had been saying all along, that Eve was the one who told Kurupt about her and DMX in the first place. Then Kurupt went even harder, taking aim at everyone connected to the drama. He rapped, "Forget Ruff Ryders, forget The Firm, and forget Belly." The Firm was the group Foxy was part of alongside Nas, and Belly was the 1998 movie starring DMX and Nas. So those bars were direct shots at both of them.
I don't like Eve. I don't like her. It has nothing to do with music. It's something that she did that was very disrespectful.
It was clear that Kurupt's diss wasn't just about Foxy. He was coming for DMX, Foxy, and even Nas for publicly commenting on their situation in an XXL interview, where Nas hinted that Foxy should have been with someone from New York instead. The beef had officially gone from personal to all-out war in hip-hop.
So was you and X issue actually over her?
Totally.
Oh, so X was messing with her when y'all was together?
Totally. Then she took one of my concepts. We was gonna make a record called The Dog and His Father.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then she went and did it. Earl.
To make sure his message hit hard, Kurupt ended calling out names by straight up mocking DMX's iconic "Get at me, dog" line, imitating DMX's growl and delivery with a sarcastic twist. He even taunted him right at the start of the original version of the track, setting the tone for one of the boldest disses in hip-hop at that time. It was raw, disrespectful, and meant to sting.
Kurupt, he killed two of his bodyguards. They're trying to kill him. Killed two of his bodyguards. So they blamed it on me because he made a song about me. Even though nobody really heard the song. And, you know, being that he made a song about me, I had to be the one doing it. I'm not pissed off at a whack.
But things took a dark and deadly turn not long after that. On the night of October 17th, 1999, around 11:40 p.m., Kurupt was at Echo Sound Studios in Los Angeles, putting in work on his album "Tha Streets Is a Mother." Suddenly, gunfire broke out. The studio became chaos in seconds, bullets flying, people scrambling for cover. When the smoke cleared, tragedy had struck. Kurupt's bodyguard, Dwayne Dupree, was killed after taking multiple gunshots to the chest, while two other rappers, Willa Givens and Jevin Jones, were both injured, one shot in the calf and the other in the foot. It was a nightmare scene that left the entire LA rap community shaken. And of course, with all the recent beef and that fiery diss track still echoing through the streets, the rumors started instantly. People began whispering that DMX might have had something to do with the hit. The timing was just too close for comfort. The speculation spread fast, and soon all eyes were on DMX. But DMX's camp wasted no time shutting those rumors down. A spokesperson came forward immediately saying, DMX is in Miami recording his album.
Two questions. How are you dealing with the conflict with Ruff?
All right, first of all, there is no conflict with Corrupt. You know, so I'm not dealing with anything.
It's unfortunate that such a tragedy happened, but DMX has no knowledge of this. I just got off the phone with him. DMX himself also denied any involvement in the shooting, saying he had nothing to do with what went down in Los Angeles that night. Still, despite his statements, the whispers didn't die down completely. With DMX's fiery reputation and unpredictable nature, people couldn't help but wonder, was it just bad timing, or was there more to the story than anyone was admitting? A month later, on November 16th, 1999, Kurupt finally dropped his long-awaited album, The Streets Is a Mother. And just like everyone expected, the controversial track calling out names made the final cut, packed with all those ruthless disses aimed at DMX. But Kurupt wasn't done yet. He took it even further. On another track called Who Ride With Us, he added an extra layer of mockery that had everyone talking. At the end of Who Ride With Us, there's a skit where Kurupt flips through fictional radio stations, and one of them plays a parody of DMX. You can actually hear someone imitating DMX's raspy, aggressive voice, complete with exaggerated growls and barks. It was pure sarcasm. Kurupt clowning DMX right on his own album. The tension between them was no longer just lyrical. It was personal, and it was heating up fast. But DMX wasn't about to let that slide. Just a month later, on December 21st, 1999, he clapped back in the biggest way possible by dropping his third studio album, and then there was X. The project was massive, quickly becoming one of his most successful releases ever, and right in the middle of it was one of DMX's most iconic hits, Party Up Up in Here. Now, most people know Party Up as a wild club anthem, something to turn up to. But real fans and industry insiders knew there was more going on under the surface. Many believed the track was a direct response to Kurupt's attacks. From the opening line, y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here, DMX sounded fed up, ready to unleash. Throughout the song, he takes shots at cowards and warns that his enemies could get done real quick, all while keeping that explosive energy he was famous for. Some fans even pointed out that his lines about gun clicks and fights breaking out over some dumb stuff felt like an eerie reference to the Echo Sound studio shooting. Whether intentional or not, it gave the song an edge that made people wonder, was DMX secretly firing back at Kurupt right there in one of his biggest hits? The second verse of Party Up hit even harder. That's where DMX really started getting personal. He went off on rappers he claimed were all talk, saying they were nothing but characters, not even good actors. Fans immediately caught the subliminal shots and believed he was going straight at Kurupt. Then he doubled down, calling someone whack and twisted, and dragging Kurupt's personal life right into the mix by referring to Foxy Brown in a harsh way. Another brutal jab tied to all that messy relationship drama. DMX didn't stop there. He used the track to vent about men fighting over women who don't even belong to them. Another direct dig that everyone recognized as a shot at Kurupt and the Foxy Brown situation. He was basically saying, real men don't lose their cool over that kind of stuff. The message was loud, aggressive, and full of that signature DMX intensity. Then came the third verse. Pure chaos. DMX turned the aggression all the way up, threatening to silence someone permanently, spitting lines like, you keep running your mouth, you gon' blow your lung out. He even hinted at making someone go missing, which only reignited the whispers about his possible connection to the Echo Sound studio shooting. Those bars made fans stop and think, was he confessing through his music or just flexing his dominance through shock value? But what really made Party Up such a devastating comeback wasn't just the lyrical jabs, it was the massive impact. The track blew up worldwide, blasting in clubs, movies, and radio stations everywhere. It became one of DMX's biggest hits ever. And for Kurupt, hearing DMX's voice mocking him on such a huge stage must have been humiliating. It wasn't just a response, it was a master move from DMX, proving that sometimes you don't need to drop more disses to win a beef. All you need is one global hit that everybody's singing along to. Sometimes all it takes is one hit that dominates everywhere. And DMX proved that with Party Up. Fast forward to January 17th, 2000. DMX pulled up to the American Music Awards at the legendary Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, where the energy was electric. During the event, he hit the press room to take questions from reporters, and of course, someone had to bring up the elephant in the room, the lingering beef between him and Corrupt. When asked about it, DMX surprised everyone with his response. He calmly said there was no real issue between them. That answer caught people off guard because Party Up had bars that fans swore were clear shots at Corrupt. The tension between them had been all over the industry, so hearing DMX suddenly play it cool felt strange, almost strategic. People started speculating right away. Some believed DMX was brushing Corrupt off completely, refusing to give him any more attention. Others thought it was a calculated move, a way to shift focus away from those ongoing rumors that linked him to the Echo Sound Studio shooting just months earlier. Either way, DMX's confidence made it clear he wasn't worried about the drama at all. Meanwhile, Corrupt stayed surprisingly quiet during this time. Despite Party Up blowing up across the world, blasting in clubs, on radio stations, and even movie soundtracks, he didn't jump into another diss track or try to fire back. Instead, he decided to take a more subtle route. On July 17, 2001, Corrupt dropped his album Space Boogie, Smoke Odyssey, showing a more mature side of himself. And on one particular track, Just Don't Give a Fuck Us So, he finally addressed the lingering feud. It wasn't as direct or vicious as before, but you could feel that leftover tension in his words. It was like both rappers had moved on, but the history between them still hung heavy in the air. Corrupt eventually made it clear that he was ready to squash the beef with DMX, showing he'd moved past all the chaos that once surrounded their names. But that wasn't the end of their story. Not quite. A few years later, on August 23, 2005, Corrupt dropped his album Against the Grain, and one track in particular, and Speak on It, quietly brought some of that old tension back. It wasn't an all-out diss, but there was definitely some sting hidden in his words. In the song, Corrupt addressed how people kept comparing rappers like 50 Cent, Ja Rule, and DMX to the late, great Tupac Shakur. He didn't hold back. He shut those comparisons down completely, saying there would never be another Tupac, no matter how big anyone got. And then he called out DMX by name, making it clear that he didn't see him as the new Pac either. It was subtle but sharp, like reopening an old wound just a little bit. After that, though, the feud between DMX and Corrupt finally started to fade away. Time moved on, both rappers kept doing their thing, and the tension slowly disappeared into hip-hop history. Then in 2017, nearly 20 years after their beef first sparked, something nobody expected happened. Corrupt and DMX crossed paths at an airport, and according to Corrupt himself, the meeting was surprisingly chill. No anger, no hostility, just respect. The two legends shook hands and officially buried the hatchet once and for all. It was a rare full-circle moment, proof that even the most heated rivalries can end in peace. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of hip-hop's wildest feuds, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. Let us know what beef you want us to break down next.